Hey, what's up, guys? Your boy Rodney383, Anime Real Talk TV, and today I got Deadpool Zilla,
What's up, guys?
and we're gonna talk about the new Wolverine trailers. Now, there are two trailers, a domestic and an international. So we're gonna just delve into some facts or some exposition about both, and we're just gonna crack it out, have a little discussion about it. Now, in terms of the Wolverine movie or the trailer as a whole, did you feel it feels different than Origins in a good way?
Yeah, it definitely does. Like this feels like a much darker Wolverine film because the first one had you could obviously tell from the trailer, yeah, it's an action film. With this feels like a total 360 difference. And Wolverine does have some dark stories, so I'm okay with that darker tone.
I also like the production value because it looks different. Like you can tell when a movie is shot differently, and just the tone, the color palette, like it looks more suited, especially when they show like the Japanese nightlife or the buildings and stuff, and everything's lit up, you know. So it's that is really cool. So hopefully, it delivers on making up for Origins. But
Is it just me, Rodney, or does it feel like some of the shots you see in this trailer, like these wide shots of the cities and the towns that Logan is in, and just the movie itself, it feels a bit like something out from the James Bond films.
in terms of like it having like vast locations and a broad sense of things, I think the panning shots as well, like the spinning shots, the circular, I don't know what you call them, but the character's standing and then they have like the camera going spinning around him so you can get a perspective of everything that's around him. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Yeah, so it definitely has that a big scale action film vibe.
Yeah.
But let's go into a couple of things about the trailer. And we see him, he's like wandering around, like almost like a bum, you know what I'm saying? Now, can you clarify when is this after? Because clearly it's in continuity with the other films because you see flashbacks of Jean Grey and he has a picture of her, stuff like that. So is it after 3 or before 2? Like can you place it in the continuity?
I don't know because I've been really been keeping myself on purpose, keeping myself in the dark on purpose because I really want to be surprised by this film. The only last bit of news before the trailer came out I paid attention to was when Darren Aronofsky had to leave the film. Um, so I don't know because I've been hearing like, oh, it's after X-Men 3 or it's set in between X-Men 3. But if I had to guess, now I don't know if this is if this is true or not, but I'm gonna bet this is right after like a few years after X-Men 3.
Okay. All right, fair enough. And his look, his savage looking, Wolverine with the beard and long hair. Like, how you liking that? Cuz that's like Weapon X shit right there.
With that, you get this sense like it's kind of like again, I don't want to make this. I really don't want to compare it to Skyfall and Dark Knight Rises, but it has that same kind of premise of here's a hero who's been out of the game for a while. You can tell he's been out of the game, and now he has to come back into it.
Yeah, I think he's just emotionally crushed
Yeah,
for whatever reason. Probably, because of Gene, so that would put it somewhat in continuity with the films. So you may be right on it being around the time of the third or the second one, probably the third one. So that's so he's going through some things. Why he's wandering around aimlessly is kind of weird. And him getting into bar fights is like common, so that's just a thing that's just gonna happen regardless. So we see, I believe that's Yoriko.
Mariko.
Okay, that comes to him and says, "Well, my employer has been looking for you, right?" Now can you explain like that whole relationship is different? So that's different from Yoriko, right?
Mariko was Wolverine's love interest for the longest time throughout a lot of the X-Men comics. The comic that this is based off of, loosely based off of, involves Wolverine going to going to Japan to try to rescue Mariko from uh, because her father in the comics was the leader of a triad in Japan, the biggest triad. It wasn't like a company; it was this huge triad that had a front for a company, and Logan was trying to rescue her from it. And she's dead. She passed away years ago. How she died was pretty much she was poisoned, and Wolverine had to kill her, to save her the pain.
So the story would be based on that story. You know what I'm saying?
Loosely by the
Uh,
looks of it.
yeah, it does have the triad inside of there, that yakuza, however you want to say it. So it does have that vibe of having ninjas in suits with katana swords, and an abundance of them. So yeah, Um, now also in the trailer you get a wedding scene, which is presumably Logan and Mariko's wedding, and then the shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
So they get attacked. Who knows if it was staged to like to get at Wolverine, but it was that's going on. So it's pretty slick. Plus Mariko, she got some moves. It was a slick little move that she did, was taking the gun out of somebody's hand with a staff. It was pretty cool looking.
In terms of like other stuff, we get a great other shots, and this guy who he says, I owe you big time for saving me. And we do get that flashback of Logan rescuing this kid from, I can assume, is the bomb that hit Hiroshima in World War II.
Are you sure? I mean, well, when I seen it, it didn't look like a kid. It looked like he was a grown man. Maybe like Vietnam War or something. I don't know. I have no idea why Wolverine, a clearly non-Asian looking person, was there. You know what I'm saying? But we know that he was in like a lot of wars. I was thinking probably Vietnam or something like that, but um, it's probably closer to the story you remember. So you're probably right on that.
And he's pretty much telling Logan, do you want to end? Do you want to end to your eternity? Do you want to stop being immortal? And Logan tells him, that's impossible. He's pretty much like Wolverine's a healing factor. It adds to his longevity, so it's mutant. So how are you going to stop him from having his mutant powers? So that's going to be a big mystery. And he pretty much tells him, what I am, you can't stop me from, this is part of what I am. You can't stop that.
Now, so let's get on into the chair that he's in. Can you explain exactly the mechanism that they're using, or
I don't know, like what that is. Like maybe some kind of life support system or something.
is it something similar that's in the book, or?
If it is, it looks a lot different from something I can tell from. But uh, it just looks like something that's keeping that guy alive.
All right, now who is the assistant? It doesn't look like Mystique because we didn't see any real signs that it was, but clearly a little scene, a split-second scene of her like taking another face off of her face. It was quick and weird. So I'm intrigued. But do you have any idea who that assistant is? Because she's not Asian either. So who is she?
Well, I think that's supposed to be the villain called Viper, which I heard is supposed to be in this film somewhere. Viper she is a Wolverine villain, but she's more of a Captain America villain, oddly. She works for Hydra and this other group called the Serpent Society. But it's kind of weird because she doesn't have mutant powers. She's more like a super spy.
Okay. A Black Widow of sorts.
Yeah, like Black Widow gone bad.
Okay. All right. Now let's get on to something huge, and from what I've seen, split second only, looks pretty damn good. The Silver Samurai armor,
Yeah.
which to me, it looked huge like a robot mech. Like it was kind of huge. It wasn't like people size, It looked kind of big. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I liked how it looked because I was afraid that when they said, "Oh yeah, Silver Samurai is going to be the big villain in this movie," I was kind of afraid they were just going to call him. That was going to be like his code name, and he was just going to wear regular clothes. But it was it was just really gratifying to see him in the whole armor and seeing the armor itself. So it was really cool to see all of that. But yeah, I was just really surprised by that. So it's really cool that they're actually going to go with the whole him in the armor thing.
Yeah. And is Silver Samurai's armor made out of adamantium as well, or?
There was one, if I remember right, there was one set of armor that he wore that was adamantium, but I think he got rid of it because he said it made him too slow. So it's regular metal. like bulletproof metal,
Okay.
and
All right.
uh, Silver Samurai, like Wolverine, is a mutant.
I see. So, the armor itself is just armor. So, what's the power that he has outside of that?
He can basically charge his this energy through his sword that can even cut through adamantium.
Okay, because I'm vaguely remembering it through the animated series,
Yeah.
the X-Men animated series. So, but yeah, sounds pretty cool. Now, oh, another thing, Wolverine being surrounded by ninjas. That shit was baller. I was like, holy shit. He's fighting them off one by one, and he's like, yeah, I got y'all motherfuckers now. And then out of nowhere, like they just keep coming and coming. He's like, come on, like it's just ridiculous. And I think like they're not really doing anything but being annoying to him, like because he has to go through the bodies to like get to where he wants to go. So it's like that many is just slowing him down, you know. And
Yeah.
I like the fact that the organization of ninjas or the triad, whatever, they feel as though they have to send that many for him. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Or it's lights out. So I thought that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah. The other thing is that I heard somewhere that that was supposed to be the Hand from the Daredevil comics, but now Daredevil and all its properties are back at Marvel, so I don't think they're going to call him the Hand. I think they'll just be regular ninja assassins.
Oh, okay. They look pretty cool though. It's all them ninjas like just coming around real slick. I was one thing that I was not hoping to see, but I expected to see was Wolverine in a gi or in a traditional samurai type attire. You know what I'm saying? uh, in his clothes, maybe training. He was the Wolverine and he can bust shit up, and yeah, we know that. And, he got animated claws, but him learning the philosophies and the training of like a ninja or a samurai, as it were. Kind of um the movie with Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai, kind of like that. I was thinking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, Whereas though he's learning really fast and he's good, and people hate that he's allowed into the fold. You know what I'm saying? To learn that, so you got your big dog, probably like a Silver Samurai type, that hate, Wolverine on that premise alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. And that was kind of part of the reason why Silver Samurai hates Wolverine is because the one of the reasons like he was brought into this fold kind of and Silver Samurai is a very traditional Japanese warrior. He believed that Logan was a gaijin. He was an outsider. He didn't belong in this group, in this fold. So maybe they'll add that to the rivalry between the two.
Yeah, which we can also see in the animated series, with Silver Samurai and a episode where Wolverine got stranded on like an Arctic island, and he was like with the people there, and he was embraced by the people, but the one guy that should be the top dog there, he was getting outshined by Wolverine, and that was a Sabretooth episode primarily, but so we've seen that theme before. Wolverine is just badass. There's nothing to that.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna get on to something that I didn't really like was the train sequence. I thought it looked cheesy. I thought it looked fake, noticeably
Oh,
fake.
yeah. Like that was the thing. Like it was a little, like when Wolverine was coming out with the claws. I'm like, that's just there for being in the trailer, isn't it?
Yeah, that was the breaking point. Everything else, I was like, okay, but when he rushed to you with the claws and stuff, I'm like, now you just like, now you just don't give a fuck. Like you just blatantly just making it look shit. Like so I didn't like that. It reminded me of the worst parts, uh, action parts of Origins. So it brought me back there. So I was kind of disappointed in that, and hopefully the CG it doesn't look as bad as it did at times in Origins. With the claws, we all know the claws look like ass. Look, you could tell they was fake. It's weird. Or you can tell they was practical, but they was fake.
Yeah.
Weird. So hopefully they get that right.
Yeah, from what I saw, like the little images of the claws in this trailer, they looked a lot better than they did in Origins.
Also another little quick thing I seen on the screen, I guess the work that Maiko's father is doing, I guess he's terminally ill. He's old, you know what I'm saying? He looks like he would want Wolverine's um power to stay young and to live forever. So I
Yeah.
can't put that out that he wants that is an ulterior motive that he wants that power for himself. But you see on the screen, they're talking about the work they can do when he's saying, "Well, I can do it, Wolverine." Like and it's kind of like it look like a parasite attached to a heart. So it's some genetic shit going on that I would imagine they're doing this to Wolverine, trying to, extract a specific thing or whatever. So, it looks like it's some type of genetic parasite or something going on there. So,
With that, you kind of see through this trailer is with this trailer you see a lot like of Wolverine's healing factor. It's slowing down and even stopped working, and even he's getting concerned. Like, what did they do to me?
yeah,
So,
because I mean, say what you want, but that's a useful ass thing. You know what I'm saying? That's useful, especially when you find yourself in danger like he has been. You know what I'm saying? So that's useful.
and in the earlier comics, it's actually kind of funny because his healing factor is so accelerated. In the early comics, Wolverine's healing factor it would take him hours to even days to heal.
Yeah,
From the more pain, if he, there was one point where he got beaten down by the Hulk, and it took him like 4 days just to pull himself back together. All his bones to rearrange and stuff.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because we haven't seen him in the trailer have anything more than a couple slices or something like that. So that's something that I would imagine that's relatively quickly to do. We see
Yeah.
him get his arm crushed and and shattered. You know, yeah, that might take a couple days.
So with that, it's nice to see in this trailer. It looks like Wolverine is going to be depending on just his skills alone. He can't depend on that healing factor. It's all got to be just his skills and fight through any pain he gets throughout this movie.
And let's not forget that if he does not have his healing factor, he is unable to sustain the the pain of having the animanium, correct?
Yeah,
You got no healing factor and you're all metal inside. That's kind of weird.
they mention this a few times in the comics, just little things that just because Wolverine's bones are so heavy, they're adamantium, that his body is constantly repairing itself. Little repairs here and there, tiny little things to make sure his body can still move. And those claws, he's going to be bleeding out of those knuckles every time he pops those claws now.
Yeah, yeah. So that was interesting because we know growing up seeing Wolverine, whether it be in the comics or on the TV show, that he had little cutouts for the claws. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But later on, I have found out that yeah, like he popping blood every time he got to pop those, even though it had little cutouts for the claws and stuff like that. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah. Anything else you wanted to add?
Not really. I'm just saying, like this from this trailer, and I've actually got a little. This trailer gave me a lot of faith after that. Origins gave me a bad taste in my mouth. So uh, this looks like it's a little more controlled. It doesn't look like there's going to be a cameo every 5 seconds in this movie. It looks a lot better. But then again, trailers have deceived me before. Isn't that right, Last Airbender?
Ah, yeah. Well, there you go. All right. Well, this is Rodney 383. I'll let you, boy.
And this is Deadpoolzilla.
And we will see you guys next time. Tell us what you guys thought about the trailer. Does it look better than Origins? Is it possibly better? Who knows? But give us your thoughts down below. So yeah, peace.
Later.
Anime Real Talk TV, and once again, I got my boy Ziploc.
Wrong dude. Wrong comic nerd, dude.
Yo, you have no idea how many times